All right, people. Um, Here's the bottom line. There's so many things to be talked about here. Um, so many reactions, so many just different things said. We live in a culture today, especially in the sports media world, um, where it's more about hot takes and saying the most controversial things than telling the truth. And I think that's just media in general today. That's not like some political thing I'm trying to say. I think that's just truth on how it is. All right. Um, and the Browns have been talked about nonstop 24/7. We've already covered this. It's not new. Um, but after Monday Night Football, it got much worse than anybody could have expected. All right, as far as the talk. So there are so many places we can start here. There's so many different ways we could go. I'm going to just start off by saying, first of all, did because I get accused a lot of being biased and being um, too optimistic, I guess, because I'm the one in a world full of people who comes on and says, "There's no hope, everything's horrible." I'm the one who says, "Hey, these were the positives. We need to look at that, build off of that, etc." I'm sorry, but today I have no positives for you. I wish I could, but here's the deal: this Cleveland Browns team was still in Cleveland. They didn't come to play. They weren't there. Plain and simple. That is not the Cleveland Browns. All right. Um, and yes, I'm not saying they didn't play. There's people going to be like, "Oh, we're denying that that's how bad they played." No, we played horrible. We played awful. That was not even remotely how it should have been. Um, Coming off of that such a dominating win against Baltimore, um, and everything feeling like it's finally on the right path, we come out and this is what we put on the field. Final score of this game, hold on. Final score of this game was 3-31. Obviously, the score tells you right there how this game went. And by the way, if you're wondering, oh, the Browns dominated. No, they didn't. The 49ers won 31-3. Um, so, yeah, first of all, um, let's just get into what has been talked about the most with this game, in my opinion. And I have super strong feelings on this topic. And that is the Richard Sherman situation. If you don't know, there was talk saying that Baker didn't shake hands um, and whatnot, basically saying that similar to when Baker was at Oklahoma and the Kansas situation where the kids didn't shake hands and whatnot. That's basically how I thought this was. All right. Um, so, I have not. Okay, let me say this. Before I did any research into it and actually looked at stuff, um, I had no clue on it. Commentators didn't say anything about it. Nobody said anything about it till after the game, and it came out of Richard Sherman's mouth, a guy who loves to talk. So everybody, of course, jumped on it like it was done and true. Um, Now, here's the thing. Have I seen any specific video or footage showing Baker Mayfield specifically not shaking hands? No, I have not. I have not seen anything showing that he didn't shake hands. In fact, I've seen the opposite. Um, I found this video on Instagram of Baker, and it actually shows him shaking hands. So I don't know if you can see that. I know if I was better at editing and stuff like that, I could show it so much better. But As you can see, if you're watching the video on my phone, clearly in that video, Baker does shake hands, and he shakes hands with specifically Richard Sherman. Um, so I think people have been saying no, he didn't in general, which obviously he did. And then there's people saying, well, it was towards this specific thing, and it was after the coin toss or whatever. Um, Here's my thing: if that's true and he didn't, in my opinion, I think he should be fined for that. Um, Baker is Baker. All right, he's Baker. That's just who he is. Like it or not, he's not going to change. Um, so deal with it. That's just how he's going to be, like it or not. Um, so does that sound like something he could potentially do? I wouldn't be super shocked, but I have not seen any proof showing that he didn't. Right now, it's just word of mouth. All right. So until I see that, I until proven guilty, I think he's innocent. That's just me. Um, I haven't seen it yet. I would love for somebody to send me a link, put it in the comments below. Um, I want proof that he didn't. I have not seen it. In fact, I've seen the opposite. So, um, yeah, on that, show me. If he really didn't, like I said, I think he should be fined. And branching off of this, the Nick Bosa situation. People are mad because Nick Bosa, well, I'll say this. People the people who hate the Browns love the fact that Nick Bosa did that. Buckeye fans love the fact that Nick Bosa did that. Let me put some context in this. And I'm really hoping that even if you disagree, just listen to what I'm trying to say. All right. Skip Bayless made a good point, which, like him or not, this is just true. Baker Mayfield, when he planted the flag at the horseshoe in Ohio State, at Ohio State. Context on that, a lot of people say, oh my gosh, this guy went in and beat their team and planted a flag on their 50. That's so disrespectful. Listen to me. The year prior, Ohio State goes into Norman, Oklahoma and beats Oklahoma, does Carmen, Ohio in their end zone, or, that area, as they always do. That's with anybody. Um, Baker seen that, was ticked, all right, as he should have been. You let this team come in and beat you. So the next year, what does he do? He comes to the shoe and beats Ohio State. So him putting the flag on the 50 at Ohio State is him saying this is payback for what you did. This is not him just doing it being a punk, all right? Because that's what people are acting like what happened with the whole flag situation, all right? So there's context right there, all right? Just keep that in your head. So Nick Bosa, same thing as Baker, sees that happen, gets mad because Baker did that, planted in the horseshoe. We got it, all right? So am I mad that Nick Bosa did that? No, frankly, I don't care, because here's the thing. Baker Mayfield beating Ohio State in the horseshoe when they did, how they did, was more of an impact than this game was even close to. All right. College football and NFL are totally different. You lose in NFL, you still have a shot. You lose in college, you're not making the playoffs, or possibly not making the playoffs. So Baker Mayfield beating Ohio State was much more bigger than this 49ers Browns game. I'll just put it to you that way. And you can disagree with me all day long. That's just plain and simple. Anybody who watches both NFL and college will tell you it's not even close. You can't lose a college game. You can lose. I'm not saying you should lose an NFL game, but you can lose an NFL game. So right there, I don't care. It's not that big of a deal. So next step, jumping off of that, let's talk about this, because this is what has been talked about constantly, nonstop, since the season began. Everybody's been saying Baker Mayfield's horrible. Baker Mayfield sucks. Baker Mayfield's overrated. He shouldn't be in the league. He's 5'11", which he's not. He's 6'1", or 6 foot, whatever. But anyway, saying all these things, saying Baker Mayfield's just shot, he's awful. Sorry. Um, Here's the bottom line. Baker Mayfield last night, he went 8 for 22, 100 yards, 2 interceptions, 4 sacks, 2 fumbles. Quarterback rating of this says 13.4. Odell Beckham Jr. had a better quarterback rating and completion percentage than Baker Mayfield. To be fair, that was literally one, but nevertheless. So let's talk about this. Because, like I said earlier, sports media is a world of hot takes, uh, just letting it go, getting attention on it because of how stupid it is. Um, Here's the bottom line. Baker Mayfield, as I said, is going to be Baker Mayfield. If you don't like him talking, too bad. That's just how he's going to be. All right. I don't mean, I'm not taking this political. I'm just saying, for comparison, the President of the United States talks. That's just true. He loves to talk. His Twitter, we all know this. You can hate that all day long. Bottom line is, it's not changing. This is the exact same thing with Baker Mayfield. It will not change. He's not going to change this. Baker Mayfield, his whole life, has had to fight. Now, I know that sounds like he's beat the odds, like it's some movie, but here's the bottom line. 2-time walk-on. He had to fight for his position. You know, he went through the injury. He had to transfer. He had to fight for that. He had to fight at Texas Tech, high school. He's been overlooked constantly. The man always has a chip on his shoulder. All right. People don't understand this. This is how he is. And it's not going to change. So get used to it now. Anyway, so what's different this year? Baker Mayfield last year. People saying, oh, he shouldn't have been drafted number 1 overall, whatever. He basically gets told that he's not even the second string quarterback in Hard Knocks. He comes in a Jets game, lights it up, gives the city of Cleveland hope for the first time in a long time. And ever since then, he has. Now, was he lights out, 100% completion, perfect quarterback? No. But last year, Baker Mayfield, for what the Cleveland Browns have needed, a guy with attitude comes in looking to prove something. He was perfect for Cleveland. This whole notion of what has he done? Well, I'm sorry to break it to you, but Baker Mayfield as a rookie quarterback broke the passing touchdown record held by Peyton Manning and Russell Wilson. You can hate Baker all day long. I think you respect those guys. So, Baker this season, what's different? Everybody thought this would be perfect. You trade for Odell Beckham Jr., you got this defense. Here's what's different. You try to change the offense, all right? That's number 1. You try to change the offense, you go from what worked. You go away from what worked, trying to change this offense. Number 1, that's stupid. That's dumb. Here's the thing. You go with what works. Baker, his whole career, has worked in a certain aspect of an offense, all right? The Browns and Freddie Kitchens did that perfectly last year. That's why Baker looked as good as he did. Now, did he throw picks? Yes, he did. He forces balls. He takes chances. Sorry, don't like it. Too bad. It's just who he is. What's different this year? The play design, the offense design, it requires a quarterback to hold on to the football. If you know anything about football, when you have receivers who are downfield drastically, like over 20 yards downfield, that play is required for the quarterback to sit back and wait for the receiver to break open. Here's the bottom line. This Cleveland Browns offensive line is not capable. The whole offensive line, there's a couple pieces that are uh, better. I mean, here's the thing. This Cleveland Browns offensive line is not made to be able to give a quarterback that much time. All right. Baker Mayfield is getting crumbled in the pocket. This is why you have seen him over the season have to bail early. He's been paranoid. He's been beat up. He's been hurt. Listen to me. Everybody's saying Baker Mayfield's such a horrible quarterback. Here's the bottom line. I watched that 49ers game last night. Let me tell you something. Baker Mayfield stood no chance. There was one play in that game, and I wish I could show you, but I can't. Baker Mayfield in the pocket, gets the ball. 1 second, pocket collapses while he's in. Has to bounce out somehow. It's a miracle he bounced out. Run 15 yards backwards just to throw the ball away. How can you sit there and tell me that he sucks off of that? And that everybody, that's one play. That's one play. No, I watched the game. That was the whole game. And I talked to Brown's starting right guard, Chris Hubbard. I was talking with him on Instagram. I told him, I said, hey, I'll show you. I'm not lying here. I know this sounds like clickbait. I talked to the Brown starting guard. I did. I said, hey, we got to protect him. He said, here's what I said. I said, hey, hold on. I don't know the exact wording what I said because people say I'm lying if I don't go back and look. So let me prove it. Okay. So I said, can you please help from Baker Mayfield getting killed? We need to protect him. That's what I sent. All right. So these are the responses. Okay, I don't know why I didn't show that. All right, so these are the responses here. He said, watch the film, bro. My brother didn't even get touched on my side. All right, which I did go back and watch. All the pressure was coming from the left side. The left side of our offensive line was absolutely getting destroyed. So the whole problem of Baker's horrible. He has time. He can't. He's just a horrible quarterback. It's not true. All right. I told him. I said, "Hey, last thing we can do is have Baker be getting hurt." He said, "Yes, I completely understand. That's my brother. He means the world to me." Here it is. I'm not sure if you can see that or not, but that is Chris Hubbard. All right. That's factual. I have the proof. I actually talked to him. And the only reason why I did that is because I was ticked, because our line sucked. But anyway, the issues were on the left side of the line. There is maybe 2-3 quarterbacks in this league who can do anything with that offensive line. And it's Kyler Murray, Lamar Jackson, Deshaun Watson, possibly Russell Wilson. And that's the thing. Everybody's like, well, Seahawks have a bad line. What does that mean? Oh, the Browns got a bad line, but the Seahawks also got a bad line. Look what Russell's doing. Guess what? Russell Wilson's not getting absolutely destroyed the first second he gets the ball in his hands. Okay? What Baker's doing is as soon as he gets the ball in his hands, he has to wait on receivers to get open downfield because the design of the offense is that way. So he has to bail early because the pocket's crumbling under him. So he has to bail early, run out, guys have to get open on the run, and nothing's there. So you wonder why he's throwing picks. Because here's the thing. Baker Mayfield is constantly told, you need to get the ball out early. Okay, so when you got a guy in your face right here, he's trying to get it out and just hope that his receiver can get it. Is that dumb? Okay, I'll give you that. But bottom line is it's not all on Baker. Has he played bad? Yes, that's just true. But the bottom line is it's not all on him. The play calling has not been great. The Ravens game was finally a glimpse of Baker last year. He's playing hurt. I'm sorry. I've watched these games. He's playing hurt. This is why he's not been as accurate. This is why he hasn't been able to throw as far because he's hurt. He's constantly getting hit. This is a problem. Cleveland Browns have got to trade for a left tackle right now. It has to happen. Left tackle and right guard are our worst positions, and we're getting absolutely destroyed. Um, and if it doesn't change, it's just going to get worse until we get through these next two games, at least. Because this offensive line, it will be an absolute miracle if Baker Mayfield can escape these next two games without getting hurt. All right. So this whole notion that it's all on Baker, no, it's not. Half the time the line is crumbling. Now, I've only talked about Cleveland. The San Francisco 49ers are a great team. All right. And here's the thing, Steelers fans, this whole thing of, hey, we played them close. Listen to me. That wasn't the same 49ers team. All right. You play them right now, you're getting blown out 70-0. All right. That San Francisco 49ers team was legit last night. That defensive line was unstoppable. And we got outplayed. That's just plain and simple. We couldn't do anything offensively. We tried. It just wasn't working. There's major issues on that offensive line. So 49ers defensively had us. There was nothing we could do. All right. The pass rush makes it easier for the corners. That's why when Baker threw that first pick, that was because it was a last second, I got to get this ball out or I'm getting sacked. That's why he had the fumbles, because he was constantly running. You can sit here and tell me I'm wrong all day. Go back and watch it. Go back and watch it. Stats don't tell everything, all right? You got to be able to look and say, okay, stop. 1 second, okay. Here they are. Here's what's happening. This is how things are starting to play out. Receivers are going here. What I'm trying to say is, listen, it's not all about stats. All right. You got to be able to look and see that there's issues. People look at the stats and say Baker Mayfield's a horrible quarterback. Well, frankly, I say I'm sorry, but nobody can do anything with that offensive line unless you're running for your life. That's why I said Kyler Murray, Deshaun Watson. It's just a fact. So yeah, defensively we were horrible. We were horrible. The one consistent thing on this team has been defense, and it was not there. So this might sound like it's a all hope is lost. All hope is not lost. Um, it's just so frustrating because right when it looked like we were on path and everything was starting to come together, this happened. And things got to get changed. All right. When Antonio Callaway has a touchdown in the end zone, that would have put the game 10-14 going into halftime. But no, instead he goes and gives him the ball. Can't have that. And by the way, Antonio Callaway blocked me on Instagram because I told him, hey, don't throw all your talent away on weed. And, he blocked me. So I don't know about you, but that tells me he's going to stay on the weed. So there's so many different directions and different ways you could go with this game. I personally think that the next two games are going to be drastically ugly. It's going to be the same result if things aren't changed. And I mean changes as in that line's horrible. Trade for a new left tackle, right guard. Something's got to change, plain and simple. So I'm sorry if I stepped on your toes. I'm sorry if I hurt your feelings. I'm just telling you what I think. I think I think there's a lot more issues than just Baker Mayfield, and I'm not saying he's been perfect. Baker's not played good, but that's also because of many other reasons. All right. So it's embarrassing. It is. Um, is Seattle unstoppable? No. Um, Are they a good football team? Absolutely. But I don't think at this right now, the next 2 games are gonna be blowouts, not for Cleveland. So, we're in for a hard stretch. But you know what? Season's not over. There's a lot left. So, I don't know. I really don't know. All right. It's just constantly been talk. It's just constantly been, either drastically we suck or we're really good or it's just been all over the board. Um, I don't know what to think. I want to see us play again. I want to see if this coaching staff can get this team ready to go. All right. Um, I think these guys, okay. First of all, I forgot to mention this. People, Colin Cowherd, have been saying trade Odell Beckham Jr. First of all, Odell Beckham Jr. is not the problem. All right. That whole notion is ridiculous. This team is without a lot of starters. Any other team had this many starters out, people wouldn't even, you wouldn't even, if the Patriots had this many starters out, people would give them a pass. It's insane. So I'm gonna quit rambling here. I don't even know what to say at this point. This is just I've never felt so physically sick watching a football game than I was yesterday. So, with that being said, like, comment, subscribe. Tell me your thoughts. So, yeah, if you're a Buckeye and Browns fan, at least we got Ohio State right now. So, all right. See you in the next video. Bye.